Florida State loses another recruit to the Florida Gators.
You are Locked On Seminoles, your daily podcast on the Florida State Seminoles. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back into Locked On Seminoles. I am your host, Brian Smith. I am a longtime college football writer and recruiting analyst, and thank you for making Locked On Seminoles your first listen each and every day. Truly appreciate you stopping in to talk some Noles with me. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet and get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Byron Lewis, running back, American Heritage High School, Plantation, Florida, is no longer a Nole. He has flipped his decision to the Florida Gators. This is not really shocking because 2 weeks ago he took an unofficial to Gainesville, and then this past weekend he took an unofficial visit to Gainesville to see the Gators. What is surprising stems from the historic look at this. Florida does not do nearly as well as Florida State recruiting South Florida historically. Even Spurrier days, that was not their bag. Having said that, he came down to Florida State, Miami, Wisconsin, and it looked like that was it with Florida State. But this weight shift, anybody can guess as to why. But, I mean, Florida's obviously played better lately than FSU, and that's not even remotely debatable. But why so late with it, and why a team that you didn't really originally look at? Those questions I don't know the answers to. What I do know is it hurts from several different perspectives. Let's start with the big picture. Florida State went from 13 to 12 commitments. Remember now they got Kevin Sperry, the quarterback out of Texas, not that long ago to get him to 13, but back down to 12. They do not have a running back commitment now. That's never good. You're talking about a prospect that's a 3-star on some of the services and a 4-star on some others. And I'll go ahead and share my screen here so we can, for those of you on YouTube can see it, but I'll read these off as well. This is a prospect that is not just a good football player, but he is a prospect that is quite capable of being your lead running back. So here are the rankings for Byron Lewis. On 3 has him as a 4-star, the 285th player in the country, 21st running back, 35th player in the state of Florida. 24/7 has him as a 3-star, the 23rd running back and 53rd player in the state of Florida. ESPN with a 4-star, 196th player, 11th running back, 23rd player in Florida, and Rivals as a 4-star, 158th player, 9th running back, and 31st player in the state of Florida. So what are we talking about here with Byron in terms of what he can do? Well, I've seen him play several times, seen him since he was a freshman, catches the ball out of the backfield well, 5'11", 200, 205 pounds. He's in that range. Runs with power, good shiftiness. I think he would be, for a comparison's sake, really good in the old Denver Broncos, just zone scheme, one cut and go, but he can make a jump cut and get way out wide too and make somebody miss. It's just more likely he's going to try to take one hard cut and make a guy miss than he is make a whole bunch of shifty moves. So 200-pound guy, he will be ready to play college football early for the Gators. This is a talented football player, no doubt about it. Good guy too. And I think he's a 3-down back. Power football, if you want to run speed option, if you want to throwing the ball, he can pass block in terms of his size and his physique. All high school running backs are mediocre at blocking until otherwise proven in my book, but that's another story. But coming from American Heritage, this is a big pickup for the Gators because that's a great program to get somebody from. It's a program that he's well coached. Smitty and his staff do a great job down there. American Heritage, shout out to him. They've got another great team this year. But again, you're talking about a scenario where he's possibly somebody like Jaden Ball is their running back at UF now. Maybe he can come in and compete for second-team reps as a second-year player, or maybe even as a freshman. Matter of fact, I'd lean towards him being able to do that at least third. He's a guy that's going to play. The size is there, the pass-catching ability. So good pickup for the Gators. What does it do for Florida State's class? Well, again, they're down to 12 commitments. They don't have a running back commitment, and it's perception. Here are some of the other players to think about now. Daniel Pierre-Louis already flipped from Florida State to Florida. He's the offensive lineman, also somewhat South Florida. He's from Waxahachie. But there's also the concern about whether or not Kevin Wynn's going to end up in the class. Solomon Thomas, arguably the best offensive lineman in the country, who is currently committed to the Noles. Will he end up in the class? And then there's also Peyton Joseph, another offensive lineman. Remember, Atkins was the OC and offensive line coach. That's rough. And Mario Nash, another offensive lineman out of Mississippi. This class is in peril here. They need to figure it out and get some guys at it. I'm not saying I got any answers for how, but this is going to be a really tough week. Signing day is 8 days from now. I don't know if you can add anybody else that you really want. They've got a receiver coming in from Connecticut I don't know much about for a visit. He's at a really good private school up there. It's a boarding school, but I don't think Florida State's in a situation they're going to get like 5-6 guys. That would be surprising to me. Maybe 1 or 2 more. But my bigger concern is which players leave the Seminoles class. And that's a really difficult situation. You've got coaches on the way out, and you don't have new names there. Makes it really, really hard. So with that, once again, thank you for making Locked On Seminoles your first listen each and every day. Truly appreciate you stopping in to talk some Noles with me. If you want, you can follow me on X and get all the news about when the posts or when the podcasts are up for here at Locked On Seminoles. That's FB Scout _Florida. Again, on X, FB Scout _Florida. Take care, and I'll see you soon.